All right, so a significant number of chads have already shipped and are shipping over the next week or so. They're pretty much going to be all done over the next week or so as well. So yeah, a lot of guys have been asking for a quick setup guide video with some tips and tricks on how to mount it and use it and all that. So yeah, we're going to quickly jump into that and jump into what's in the packaging, what's important, and how to use this stuff. There is also a QR code in the packaging on a pamphlet with a very detailed setup guide on the tuner and how to use the Chad as well for reference. In the packaging, you'll find the setup guide with the QR code and your warranty details. That's important. And you'll also have a little baggie with your barrel, sticker, and a set screw and an Allen wrench. That's important. That's for the tuner. The ports on the Chad are asymmetrical. They angle forwards, they angle rearwards, and they angle upwards at the same time. So when looking at the Chad, there is a shorter distance between the top of the port and the top of the brake compared to the bottom of the port and the bottom of the brake. That means that when you're looking at it from the top, there is a shorter distance between the two ports compared to the bottom, where there is a larger distance between the two ports. Also, with the gold limited editions, there is a serial number on the bottom, but for the normal raw or the eventual black DLC, that is the top, that is the bottom. Don't mount it like that, it'll be a really bad experience. The Chad installs just like any other self-timing muzzle brake. But remember, this is the top, this is the bottom. So we're going to screw it onto the muzzle's threads clockwise until it stops. Then if it doesn't line up, we're going to screw it backwards until it does line up, and then screw the jam nut counterclockwise until it contacts the shoulder and torque it in place. In this instance, we're pretty damn lucky. It's pretty close. So we're gonna anti-clockwise, get that to line up pretty good, take the slack out of the threads. Then we're gonna grab a wrench on the flats and we're gonna torque it in place. Don't be the clown at a match that thinks that hand tight for a muzzle brake is all good. It's not, it never has been. I don't know where that came from, but the torque spec is on the jam nut, just like the torque spec is on the tuner. Torque it to 25 foot-pounds and this thing will never come off and you'll never have dramas. When it comes to using the tuner, screw the tuner in all the way clockwise until it stops. If the notch lines up on the tuner weight to the notch on the brake, that's great, but the likelihood of that is very slim. So turn it all the way on until it stops, then turn it backwards until they line up with the first and closest notch. Then what you want to do is you want to take the included set screw and the included Allen wrench and you want to install the set screw. Now the set screw has a pointy end on it and there are cone shapes machined into the body of the Chad. The idea here is there's the cone, the set screw, it bites in and locks in place. It physically can't turn and it physically can't move on you or fail you if you bang it on things in a match unless you physically shear the set screw, which isn't going to happen under normal circumstances. So it's a long set screw, screw it all the way in, give it a good tighten, don't strip or try to thread it by over tightening it. The torque spec is engraved on it. When you're adjusting the tuner and looking for the ideal setting, just a quick turn with this will do, but once you find that setting, torque it in place at 18 inch-pounds and it will never move on you and you'll never have a problem. Now, when it comes to using the tuner, scan the QR code on the pamphlet in the box, which will take you to the detailed guide. But essentially what you're doing is loosening this 1/8 of an inch, turning it to the next setting, tightening it up again, and then shooting your next group. and that's how you use the tuner. Nice and easy. When you finish mounting the brake, check for concentricity of the final bore of the brake and the bore of your barrel. Things can happen. Tolerance stacking is a thing. Things could be out a thou or two here, there, and you might have rubbing from your projectile and the brake. This applies to silencers as well. This is a very long muzzle brake. So just do yourself a favor and check that when you mount it up. If for whatever reason there is a problem, we will get you a new one or bore it out, whatever is faster. But yeah, do take the time to just quickly check that. And if there's something wrong, let us know so we can get it fixed as soon as possible. And that's pretty much it, guys. Enjoy the blast-free experience while having the most amount of performance out of anything on the market. It's a really nice experience. They look great and they work great. Just remember, they're very different to anything else on the market. They behave and act very different compared to anything else on the market. So just don't throw it on your gun and expect it to behave the same. You might need to move your weights around and adjust the way you control muzzle reticle movement just a little bit, because they do behave very different, but in a good way. So yeah, take a day or two to play with it before going to a match, because if you throw it on just at the start of a match, you might be like, oh, holy crap, this is weird. But yeah, that's it. Thank you as always. The support is amazing, and we will see you in the next video. Like I get the suck out of my life.